This one's going to be interesting. We're turning in the card on JT Barrett. We have written on these cards where we would take the Ohio State quarterback in the 2018 NFL Draft. We're going to turn in the cards. Person who picks him highest will get him. Turn in the card on JT Barrett. Undrafted, undrafted.
7th round, number 245 overall to the New Orleans Saints. I thought that I was going to say undrafted as well, and then I thought to myself, like, what is an NFL organization that has a good relationship with Ohio State, and is there a coach in the NFL who like might be inclined to like do Urban Meyer a solid by drafting one of his guys? And I thought of Sean Payton and the Saints. Now, you don't do guys favors in the draft. I don't think that's what this is. I think JT Barrett's personality is valuable in an NFL locker room. I don't think he's ever going to play quarterback in the NFL. Maybe he'll get a shot to do something else. But in the 7th round, I don't know. Like, you're just sort of taking guys that I think intrigue you, and there is a certain value to JT Barrett. He passed Drew Brees for the Big Ten all-time touchdown record this year. I think it would be interesting to see him kind of share a locker room with Drew Brees. I think from a competitive standpoint, there's some similarities there between the two. But that you're bringing in a guy who's going to be a good locker room guy. And maybe that's not enough to draft him, but I think that someone might do that for JT and take him at the end of the 7th round.
They have third quarterbacks on rosters in the NFL. I think JT Barrett might be a really good third quarterback. I'm like now sort of reconsidering the undrafted idea. There are some really interesting quarterbacks that get taken late in drafts. Chad Kelly was a 7th round pick last year. Jeff Driscoll, who was one time a big-time guy, he was at Florida, right, and then wound up at Louisiana Tech. He was a 6th rounder in 2016. Jake Rudock from Michigan was a 6th round pick. He's like a backup in the NFL. Nate Sudfeld from Indiana was a 6th round pick in Washington, but he's with the Eagles now. A guy who JT might remind me of is Kevin Hogan with the Browns last year. He was a 5th round pick of the Chiefs in 2016, got cut in camp and signed with the Browns, was supposed to be a backup, started that one game, stunk, but was on a roster. There are Trevor Siemian, who wound up as an NFL starter in Denver, was a 7th round pick out of Northwestern in 2015. Taj Boyd, the former Clemson quarterback, is a guy who reminds me of that a little bit. He was a 6th round pick in 2014. I think this is a good one. Greg McElroy, the Alabama quarterback, was a 7th round pick in 2011. That guy wasn't going to ever be an NFL quarterback, but he was a good college quarterback who was a winner at a big-time program. I think now I might more agree with you that he's got a shot to go late in the 7th round to a team that's honestly looking for a third quarterback. This guy's a great leader, and he can't play quarterback in the NFL, but this is a whole list of guys who can't play quarterback in the NFL that got drafted.
Yep. I'll read a quote from Mike Mayock that he gave prior to the Combine, this about JT Barrett. He said, quote, "You can see the leadership attributes. Everything you want in a quarterback he has except for the high-level talent." And I think Bill's point about the Saints makes a lot of sense because JT Barrett I think he would thrive on a team that plays in a dome. And I think the Saints have a pretty good system that fits what he wants to do. Drew Brees came from a spread at Purdue. Barrett comes from, obviously, a spread at Ohio State. That would be a good spot for him. I just think with the inconsistent physical traits, to me, I'd weigh on this day to day. I'm sure tomorrow my answer will be different than it is today, but today I kind of see it. Even though you mentioned all those lists of quarterbacks, it's just going to take one team to give him a shot today. I don't think that happens.
I think the team could play on the moon. It wouldn't really matter because he's never going to play. But there's value in JT Barrett being in your locker room, and I think there's value in having a third quarterback that if you ever got to that point you had to put him in a game, you know you can just run him 20 times and he won't throw the ball away.